Of course, we later found out that he was kidnapped and he was tortured and interrogated and beaten to death. They were the heads of the Guadalajara organization back then. So they sent me to Mexico with orders to arrest these guys. And if I couldn't arrest them, then try to eliminate them. I was briefed in Washington, and then I was shipped in charge of the Mazatlan, Sinaloa DEA office, which is the most dangerous office in all of Mexico. I was involved in numerous shootouts. They killed some of my men, shot up some of my men, and I killed some of their men. So it was understood that we had a war going on between each other. Longest shootout in the history of the DEA, a shootout that lasted almost 2 hours against these cartel members. So I told the Jim White, another DA agent, just keep driving. We had the wounded in the back of an SUV. So I got out with my AK-47, not realizing that I was full of blood. I said, you got to take these guys to the hospital. I got wounded guys in that car. So go with him and take him to the hospital. And of course, the gun battle's still going on. And my agents and mixed feds are fighting with the cartel guys. When I pulled up, it was eerie silent.
They sent you to the wolves knowing that, hey, listen, you're not undercover. Go recruit your own army. And all we want you to do is take these four guys out, either arrest them or eliminate them.
Those were the orders, yes, sir. I was ex-military, so I knew how to use M60s, M79 grenade launchers, and all that other stuff because I was trained for the Vietnam War. The DEA back when I was there would recruit out of the military and would recruit out of police departments. So they hire people like me that can go undercover, that can speak the language, have the background, be able to carry false credentials. So therefore, when you're undercover, it's a different story. Get your goddamn hands off of me. Why are you touching me like this? You something? He said, no, I'm a bouncer here. I'm checking for guns. I said, I have a gun, bitch. Here's my gun. What are you going to do now? It's not a game. It's a very serious type of situation with when you're dealing with those kind of people. They'll kill you and you'll kill them. You have to show them that you're ready right there to do war and die. Once they agree to cooperate, then they would take you into their organization. And they would introduce me as their cousin or a friend of whatever, and a drug dealer or whatever. They would lie for us. And then we'd cut him out. I'll deal directly with you. That's fine. We'll do direct. I don't need him either. And you go into what's called a long-term undercover operation. After a while, you're saying, hey, I want to go to Mexico. I want to meet your supplies. I want bigger supplies. I want now hundreds of pounds. That's the way you build into the organization. And actually, you become almost one of them. When you're running with the wolves, you do what the wolves do. If you want to be a real undercover agent, you got to turn yourself into a wolf. When you're running with them, you're a wolf. You're no longer a German shepherd. They tried to kill me, and they almost kidnapped my family, who I had in Mexico at the time with me. They almost kidnapped my daughter and my wife. And at that point, the DEA evacuated me. They said, hey, you can't be in Mexico anymore. They know all about you. I get a call from Washington that the director of the DEA wants to see me. Been delegated investigative responsibilities of the kidnap, torture, and murder of Special Agent Camarena. He says, how would you like to run that case? I said, I'd be honored to run that case. Well, first of all, what would it cost to kidnap somebody from Mexico? I said, well, it all depends who you want me to kidnap. Because I knew that they worked for the cartels. They'll work for anybody. They're after money. I mean, if I offer money to kill somebody, they'll kill somebody. Frank Schultz, the PIO officer, press information officer for the DEA at the time, when asked about this kidnapping, said that the doctor had been kidnapped by a rogue renegade agent, Hector Berrellez, without headquarters knowledge or authorization. DFS agents were involved in picking up Kiki Camarena. I said, what? He said, DFS agents were involved in picking up Kiki Camarena. DFS worked under the direction of our CIA, created by the CIA, DFS, Director of Federal Security in Mexico. They were trained here in Langley, these guys. I brought him in. And here in LA, in West Covina at a hotel, I met with him. And I said, okay, you work for the DFS. I want you to tell me who in the DFS was involved in kidnapping Kiki Camarena. He said, number one, Hector, he says, you don't know what you're involved in. We killed Camarena. Our government killed Camarena. He says, don't you know where I work? You work for the DFS. No, I don't. I'm a CIA operative. I was assigned to work with the Mexicans. And do you think that the DFS is going to pick up Kiki without our CIA knowing about it or approving it? I said, so Carlos Quintero, Felix Gallardo, and Fonseca are all working with the CIA? He said 100%. He came back black and blue from both arms from all the polygraphs they ran on him.
Holy shit.
And I talked to the head polygraph examiner that examined him, and he said, this guy is telling the truth. He is a CIA operative. I talked to 3 witnesses that were there, present. They saw who interrogated him, how he was tortured, what they asked him, what he answered, the whole thing.
They portrayed you as a rogue agent. How did you know that they were actually going to not arrest him? How did you trust the government at that point?
I didn't, but I took my chances. It was either don't take the shot or take the shot. So I took the shot, and they didn't because he did cooperate.
So the stories about Rafael Quintero wanting to interrogate Kiki is all bullshit.
That's bullshit. Max
What-
Gomez was the one that interrogated Kiki. I have the transcript. They ask him, "What do you know about Carlos Quintero's rights in Veracruz?" And Kiki answers. Fonseca got so mad that he slapped Carlos Quintero in the face so hard that he almost knocked him down. Carlos Quintero has already said, I had nothing to do with it. I didn't kill Camarena. It was the CIA that killed him. He's already saying it in Mexico. Everybody knows in Mexico. It's accepted in Mexico that the CIA killed Kiki Camarena, not here. My question to them is, okay, if I'm lying and the witnesses are lying, why are we not in jail? If we are lying and have lied about anything, then I should be locked up for subornation of perjury, which is a very serious crime.
Can you tell us a little bit about your involvement with Netflix approaching you regarding Narcos?
We do what we got to do in foreign countries to protect our national security. How do we know that the terrorists aren't burning down LA right now? We don't really know. They say, well, it was this, it was that. We think it was. We don't know. Cartels in Mexico run everything. They elect whatever governors are going to do their bidding, senators, even presidents. They buy them. They're into everything. The cartels are running everything in Mexico. No government official gets elected that is not supported by the cartels. They run businesses over there. If you want to open up a business over there, you got to pay cartel people. You cannot open a business in Mexico without paying off a cartel guy. And if you want to open a business in Mexico and be successful, you make a deal with the cartel guys. Here's what people don't realize. The cartel guys are in our country. Over, what is it, 85,000 children have disappeared? Don't you think that the cartels are selling those kids? These guys have lost rockets. They have surface-to-air missiles. They can blow our jets down. They can blow our helicopters down. They are better armed than the Mexican army. That's why the Mexican government cannot control them. We have serious corruption in this country. I got to be a crazy man to say that the CIA was involved in Kiki's murder. I got to be nuts to say that and just make it up. And if I made it up and I induced anybody to lie, that is subornation of perjury. Why am I not in jail? I have testified numerous times before congressional committees on this corruption in Washington, D.C. We hit them all at 5 o'clock in the morning. We had over 100 FBI, DEA, sheriffs, and LAPD guys involved in that operation. Guess what? They were waiting for us with coffee and donuts.
Did you enjoy that clip? Click over here to watch the full episode and click over here to subscribe to the WiseNuts podcast YouTube channel.